All right, 3.1, part 2. I'm actually going to start in GeoGebra. Your journal says to go to the big ideas exploring thing. I'm just going to use GeoGebra. I can get my point across using this. It starts with saying create two parallel lines. So I'm going to start with just a simple line. And get somewhat close to your book. And then I'm going to create a parallel line here. To do that, we got to click a point and then click our line, and then I have to create another line that creates this transversal. Okay, there we go. To find our angle measures, I need to add points to my intersections. So right there, right there. I'm actually gonna add one more point down here, and you'll see why. Okay, and then I'm gonna find the angle measure of. Let's start with C. What is that? F and D. Can we see that it's this weird number? It's just the angle, right? They said. Wonder if I can get that to the nearest tenth. Okay, whatever. You understand my point. Exit out of that. Okay, so there's my angle measure of C, F, D. In your book, that would be angle 1. Okay, I'm going to find another angle, and that's going to be angle AGF. Now if you notice, those two angles are the exact same, and that's because these are two parallel lines cut by this transversal. Okay, and these are called corresponding angles. Okay, so in the same spot, according to the transversal, right? They're both above this transversal, and they're both on the left side of their respective lines. Okay, so those are corresponding angles, and notice they have the same measure. Okay, so this would be angle 1 and 5 in your book. Let's find this angle, HFG. Okay, notice it should be the same, right? It should be the same as angle 1 in your book because these are vertical angles here. Vertical angles are always equal. Okay, and this is angle 3 in your book. Notice angle 3 and angle 5 are the exact same measure. These are called alternate interior angles. Okay, and on the alternate side or opposite side of the transversal, and they're on the inside of the parallel lines. Okay, let's find another measure here. Angle BGE. And again, same measure, right? And notice this is measure 7 or angle 7 in your book. Look, angle 7 and angle 1 are the exact same. These are alternate exterior angles. Angle 1 and angle 7 are alternate exterior. Okay? 5 and 7, these are corresponding angles. Okay, so there's a couple ways to find these measures. Okay? I'm just going to go with the odd numbers, which I found all 4 odd numbers. The even numbers are obviously going to add up to 180, right? Even plus odd is going to add up to 180 degrees. And I'm going to save some time. I'm not going to find those measures. I'm going to go into your book here. And we're going to answer these questions. Up here. Yeah, remember that, right there. Okay, you can write a conjecture about the following pairs of angles. I kind of did that by finding the angle measures. We know that corresponding angles are always going to be congruent when we have two parallel lines cut by a transversal. Alternate interior angles going to be equal. Alternate exterior, consecutive interior. Consecutive interior actually will not be equal. Instead, they'll actually add up to 180. So I'm not even write that there. These two angles, 2 and 5, they will add to 180. Okay. So consecutive interior will always add up to 180. They're not equal. Going down to number 3. When two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, which of the resulting pairs of angles are congruent? Okay, we can say there's corresponding alternate interior / exterior, corresponding alternate interior, alternate exterior, and those are the only ones that are congruent. Number 4 says in exploration 2, so I'm going to have to scroll up and read what exploration 2 says. The measure of angle 1 is 80. Okay, right there. So this is 80 degrees. Find the other angle measures. Okay, well, I'm going to do that right here underneath exploration 2. Angle 2, right, that'll equal, well, 100 plus 80 is 180, so angle 2 has to be 100. Angle 3 has to be the same as angle 2, or angle 1, because they are vertical angles, so that's 80. Angle 4 has to equal angle 2 because they're vertical angles, so that has to be 100. Angle 5 is the same as angle 1 because they're corresponding angles, so that has to be 80 degrees. Angle 6 has to be 100. Notice all my odd numbers are 80 degrees and all my evens are 100. And so that will save us some time here. Angle 7 means that's 80 because that's an odd number, right? It's also an alternate exterior angle to angle 1. And then angle 8 is going to equal 100. Okay, so there's all my angle measures from exploration 2. In your own words, write the meaning of each vocabulary term. I like to draw pictures. Take corresponding angles. I have 2 parallel lines, 1 transversal. I might shade this angle and this angle. Those are corresponding angles. I could do another corresponding angles. Red with red and red. I can do another pair for you to see. This one's above the transversal and on the right side. Above the transversal on the right side. Right, those are corresponding angles. Parallel lines. Lines that'll never touch, they'll never ever intersect. Okay, they'll never intersect. Supplementary angles. Supplementary angles add to 180. And vertical angles are, I like to say, across the X. And what I mean by that is if I have any 2 angles here, right, kind of create an X. This angle is congruent to this angle because it's across that X, it's opposite of each other. This angle is congruent to this angle. Okay, those are vertical angles. Scrolling down, these are a bunch of theorems that you can follow along with. In exercises 1 through 4, find the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2. Tell which theorem you use. So you're going to use the theorems above. Let me get the book so I don't have to scroll back and forth. Okay. And number 1, angle 1, we know that it's an alternate interior angle to 110. Right, it's on the opposite side of this transversal here. They're both on the inside of the parallel lines. So the alternate interior angles, we know that angle 1 equals 110 degrees. Okay, and which theorem did we use? We used theorem 3.2. Okay, that's the alternate interior angles theorem. Then we can find the measure of angle 2. That's vertical angle to angle 1, so that's going to be 110 as well. And there's no theorem that says anything about that, so we're just going to say vertical angles. Okay. For number 1, number 2. Okay, we have these two parallel lines here. And the transversal. So let's find angle 2 first. Angle 2 is on the same side of that transversal. One's below the parallel line, one's above the parallel line. Okay, those are consecutive interior angles. And those add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so they're supplementing. So to find angle 2, we have to take 180 minus 63, and that's going to be 117, I believe. Okay. What theorem do we use there? We use 3.4. Okay. Angle 1, well, that is actually 63 degrees. Because it is on, it's actually a corresponding angle to 63. Okay, so we used corresponding angle 3.1. Go to number 3. Number 3, I'll let you guys do. I'll let you guys practice that on your own. And number 4. You guys do 3 and 4. Let's do number 5. Okay. Don't have to show any theorems or tell any theorems. We can just find our angle. Okay. We have our parallel lines that cut by our transversal. 110 and x plus 12. Those are alternate exterior angles. They're on the outside of those lines. They're on the opposite sides of the transversal. So those are alternate exterior. They're equal to each other. They're the same measure, so we can set them equal to each other. Solve for this. We just subtract 12 from both sides. X is going to equal 98. Okay? Those are my steps. Last couple here. 45 and 10x minus 55. Those are alternate interior angles. And they're equal to each other again. So we can set those equal to each other. Add 55 both sides. And we get, what is that? That's 100. Okay, all we're looking for is x, I believe, correct? Yeah, find the value of x. Okay, so there's number 2. Found the value of x. We know that it should be 45 degrees either way, so easy enough. Okay, number 7. Number 7. Number 7 is kind of odd. I don't understand what that 6 is doing there. That shouldn't be 6. We'll skip number 7. You guys can skip number 7 as well. Okay? Or, what is this next one? What is the 2? I'm a little confused. just off the picture, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and the book doesn't have anything.
Okay, let's just go off this 52 and the 4x.
Okay, those are not consecutive. They're not alternate exterior. They're not corresponding angles. So this 6, I'm actually going to cross this out. This is a corresponding angle. Okay, this should be 52 degrees. Okay, and we know that 52 and 4x, they're going to add up to 180 degrees. So 52 plus 4x equals 180 degrees. Okay, subtract 52, you get 4x equals 128. X equals, divided by 4 is 332. 32 degrees. Well, just 32. Sorry, not 32 degrees, 32. Okay, moving on. The last one. We know that, let's just exit that out. Okay. These are alternate, oh no, they're not alternate interior, alternate exterior. Let's talk about this angle here. This is going to be 153 degrees because those are corresponding angles. Now, corresponding angles are 153, and this 2x minus 3 add up to 180 again. So we get 2x minus 3 plus 153 equals 180 degrees. Subtract 153, we get 2x minus 3 equals 27. Okay, 2x equals 30, and x equals 15. Okay, and that's it for your notes. If you have questions, you can ask me on anything confusing.